Hi everybody, this is my prediction for the Triple G versus Canelo fight. Again, I'm not going to go into stats, who has how many fights, how many wins, how many losses. I'm not going to go into anybody's height or their records. It's all irrelevant. This prediction is for people that know boxing, follow boxing, and don't need me to tell them who is who and their life stories. That's all doesn't matter. I'm just going to get straight to it. Many people are picking Canelo. The odds maker are picking Canelo. Social media is picking Canelo. Obviously, there's a number of people that are picking Triple G, but let's be honest, most people are picking Canelo to win. Let me tell you why I sort of disagree with that. Again, I could be wrong. Nobody knows until the fight is over, but here's some few things that I want to mention that some people are not saying at all. Let's start with the age. Okay, people are saying Triple G is 40, he is old, and he is done. Guys, yes, he is 40. He turned 40 not that long ago. But everybody's saying like he turned 40 and overnight he became old, because if he was having this fight at 39, people wouldn't be bringing up the age factor. But because he's 40, it has that round number to it. People are saying, that's it, he's old, he's done, he's a grandfather. I don't think so. Yes, he is 40, and yes, Canelo is younger, but I don't think it has any effect on Triple G at all. Triple G is not a lightweight. He's not 125 or 130 pounds. He's not even 140 pounds. He's moving up to a division with 168 pounds. People are saying because he's old, that means he lost his speed. What speed? What speed? He was never a Manny Pacquiao type of fighter that needed to rely heavily on his speed. He's not a 125-pound fighter who used to have speed in his early 20s and 30s, and all of a sudden, because he's 40, he lost it. He doesn't need that much speed in this fight. If anything, he's going up in weight, and I think that suits him much better. He walks around at 170, 175 pounds on any given day when he doesn't fight. So for him to be making 160, he struggled a little bit. With 168, there is no need to struggle. It's easier for him to make that weight, much easier to make that weight. He's going to feel very comfortable in that weight. And if anything, that even gives him more power to his punches. We all know that he can punch. We all know that he can crack. I mean, my God, he broke the Guinness World Records for the most knockouts in middleweight division in history of the world. And being 168 pounds, guys, he's going to punch even harder. Again, regarding speed, he's going to be cutting off the ring just like he always does. You don't need that much leg speed to cut off the ring. You need a good boxing IQ. And boxing IQ doesn't go away just because a fighter gets older. And also, I don't know if you know the saying that the last thing to go is your power. All right? So Triple G has that. It's not going anywhere. If anything, he has more power now that he's going to be a 168-pound fighter. So age is not a factor. Stop saying that he's 40 years old and he's done. All right, enough. He's not 45, he's not 47, he's not 42, he's 40. He didn't become a grandfather overnight. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to mention something about their previous fights. Most people have a short-term memory, and they think that Canelo is almost 2-0 versus Triple G. That is false and misleading information. Remember, the first fight was a draw. On paper, it's a draw. Everybody and their mothers knows Triple G won that fight. Adeline Bird, who scored that fight, should never be allowed to score boxing again. If anything, I think that after that first fight, Adeline Bird should have been stripped of her license and the fight should have been declared a no contest, because that was shameful and disrespectful. So, first fight, let's be honest, Triple G won. I know that the records say there's a D, it's a draw, but I'm just gonna go out there and say it was a victory. Second fight, you guys can call it both ways. I personally thought that Triple G won the fight. Let me tell you why I thought Triple G won the fight. Every single fight that Triple G had, including the 2 fights with Canelo, nobody has outpunched Triple G. If you look at the CompuStats records, no single fighter has ever landed more punches than Triple G on their opponent. Okay, Triple G won the fights on both CompuStats punches. With that said, I just can't stand when people think that Canelo won 2 fights or at least 1 fight, and now he's definitely going to win the 3rd fight. Another factor that for some that nobody is mentioning, or at least nobody is mentioning, is how bad did Canelo look against Bivol. All right, Canelo is supposed to be this pound for pound top elite fighter that should enter the Hall of Fame. What Bivol did to him simply showed that he's not that good, that he's not an elite boxer. If you looked at the Bivol Canelo fight, Canelo had a red forehead at the end of the 1st round. All right, guys, if you know boxing, and he's such an elite fighter, just like the media calls him out to be, there's no way that his face, that his forehead should have been marked up and busted up just like it was in the 1st round of that Bivol fight. Bivol was too big for Canelo, too heavy for Canelo, and basically looked like a giant against Canelo. No, he didn't. They both came in at the same weight. Bivol had no advantages over Canelo. All right, if anything, I think Bivol could have went to 168, whooped Canelo's ass. Bivol could go down to 160 and still outbox Canelo with ease. And the fact that the judges gave Bivol 115 to 113 again is disgraceful. The corruption in boxing that they have for these cash cows, for Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya boys, that's just outrageous. They tried to steal it. They tried to steal it as best as they could, but they knew the boxing world would get extremely disappointed, shocked, and it would cause a lot of controversy if they gave that fight to Canelo. So they gave Bivol the slightest edge, the slightest advantage by scoring it to 115 to 113. And again, here's how arrogant and how stubborn Canelo is. He actually thought he won that fight. You know, it's just like he knows deep down inside that he lost. He knows that, his whole team knows that, everybody and their mother knows that, and the fact that he said that he won the fight, it just shows how arrogant Canelo is. Like, dude, you're not that good. You know, you're not that good. And again, your resume looks great, but you were cherry picking so many of your opponents throughout your career. You know, it's just too much to go into that. Here's the thing. When I first watched Triple G's fight, it was against the Polish fighter, and the first thing that caught my attention is that Triple G was 30 years old coming into that fight, and nobody ever heard of him. The reason nobody ever heard of him is because he was fighting in Germany under K2 Promotions. Just imagine for a second if instead of K2 Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya would have selected Triple G as his fighter when Triple G was like 24, 25, 23, 26 years old. That would have been a whole different story. But because Triple G is a foreigner, because he's from Kazakhstan, you know, he came to HBO at 30 years old. And I knew from that moment on that this guy needs to fight 3 to 4 times a year in order to get a big name, to get a lot of recognition, and to get big fights. And of course, nobody wanted to have anything to do with him. He wasn't cherry picking his opponent. He was fighting anybody who his promotional team could get him. Anybody. And he, you know, Canelo was watching him, and he chose to only fight him at 36 years old. He chose to fight him at 36 years old. Triple G won that fight. I'm gonna go back and, you know, it wasn't necessary for the judges to pick Triple G in that fight, because Triple G was 36 years old. Canelo was a rising up and coming superstar. He was the cash cow. The victory of Triple G would not benefit anybody except Triple G and his fans. However, making Canelo a victor, that would ensure more money, more promising fights, more entertainment, bigger contracts, bigger paydays. And I personally believe Adeline Bird was paid under the table. I have obviously no proof of that, nothing. I can't prove it. It's my opinion, but I'm just going to call it like I see it. I think that Triple G needs to fight Canelo just like he fought David Lemieux. I know David Lemieux is not Canelo and Canelo is not David Lemieux. That's not what I'm saying. But he needs to fight exactly how he fought David Lemieux. Sharp, sharp jab. Sharp, quick jab followed by a right hand. I recall when I was watching that fight, it was still good old HBO days. I believe it was Max Kellerman, Larry Merchant, and Jim Lampley. And Jim Lampley, who I respect a lot, is a very knowledgeable expert. I remember his words during that fight was, look at Triple G's jab. Phenomenal accuracy. Unbelievable accuracy. That's what Triple G needs to do. Stick that jab in Canelo's face and then throw in your right hand. You got that power. You're able to hurt Canelo. If you're not, you're able to completely demolish him and break him down. Canelo is not an elite fighter. He's not. What he did versus Billy Joel Saunders, what he did against Caleb Plant was impressive, but give Triple G and Caleb Plant fight, give Billy Joel Saunders and Triple G knocks them both out also. Easier than Canelo did. Easier. Anyway, with that said, another factor, people keep saying that, oh, Triple G gets really hurt to the body. Why are you all assuming that? Based on what? Because Sergey Derevchenko caught him to the body and Triple G took a deep breath? So what? He was never hurt. He never went down. He never took a knee. He never even slowed down. He didn't slow down because he took a shot to the body. He took a deep breath and kept doing what he did. All right? Murata hurt him to the body. No, he didn't. Listen, Murata is an Olympic gold medalist. Murata was an undefeated fighter fighting in his hometown. Obviously, he had a lot of confidence going into that fight. Triple G is not known to be the best defensive fighter. He'll take a shot to give a shot. All right? So obviously, he's going to miss a few shots here and there. It doesn't faze him. He doesn't care about that. He took a few shots to the body, and what? Did Murata break him down? No. He went back to his corner, came out, and knocked out Murata. Knocked out an undefeated, strong fighter. Not only did he knock him out, he broke him down. Murata just completely gave up. So stop saying that bullshit that Triple G gets hurt to the body. I mean, y'all was saying the same thing, that Usyk is weak to the body. Anthony Joshua went for the kill in 9th round, and so what? Took a deep breath, got up, and came back and won all the 3 championship rounds. All right, stop focusing on that. Bevel was absolutely right what he was saying about Canelo. Canelo doesn't throw any combinations. He doesn't do anything special. He just winds up on every single punch and tries to hurt you. Didn't do shit to Bivol. Tried to punch the arm off Bivol, thinking that it was gonna work against him like it did against Caleb Smith, and he couldn't do jack shit. A better boxer, an elite boxer like Bivol, simply figured him out and embarrassed him. All right, like I said, his forehead was completely red in the first round. Canelo was exhausted, Canelo was tired, and he was frustrated and had absolutely zero answers. He couldn't adjust, he couldn't adapt, and he couldn't move to plan B or to plan C because he doesn't have those plans. He simply relies on his power, all right? And he's going to try to hurt Triple G. It's not going to do anything. Triple G, stick your jab, throw your right hooks, throw your combinations, throw your uppercuts, and you'll beat Canelo. All right? Let's just hope that the judges are finally going to be able to watch this fight as judges and not somebody who's been paid under the table. So stop writing Triple G off. Let's go into this fight. Let's see what happens. And stop hyping up Canelo.